we're very grateful to have Frank with us. He's been on the show a couple of times, and those are on YouTube, on the Church of Rock YouTube channel. Even Frank and I, neither one of us can remember how long it's been, but it's been a few years at least.
They're all a blur, the last three.
let's bring him on the air now, the great Frank Marino. Thanks for being here, Frank.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you, Derek.
Yeah, and I know you are residing in beautiful Canada.
Montreal, Canada.
Yeah. Frank, a couple of your hardcore fans were in touch with me this week knowing that you were going to be on the show, and they said, Frank's had some health issues. I'm just wondering how things are going for you right now physically and with your health and all that stuff. Are you doing okay?
Well, I'm hanging in. I got a little bit of a systemic problem. I don't want to go into details about it, but everyone tells me that if I wait long enough, it should clear up. So we'll see what happens. I've been waiting 2 years, so I'll keep on waiting.
Good. Yeah, I didn't want to get too invasive, but I thought I'd at least ask how you're doing. I'm glad that, you're hanging in there at least.
Yeah, I'm hanging in, and I'm actually about to put out a line of guitar pedals.
Really?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, my own.
Very cool.
Like the actual pedals I use, not just some, extra, because I build them,
Right.
So
I built all my own stuff.
Wow. So when you buy the pedal,
I decided to take 3 of the ones that I've built, that I've been using for 40 years, and rebuild them and sell them, sign them and sell them on the market,
That's awesome.
Guitar players that want to have my sound.
Are they going to be titled? Are they going to be
yes, they're going to each have a name. There's 3 different pedals that I'm using, and one of them is like a clean boost. The other one is like a overdrive and with a full EQ, and the other one is like a super overdrive. If you've seen my DVD,
we have.
When I do Electric Reflections of War, that's one of them.
Okay.
And when I do most of my other soloing, that's the other one of them. And when I do the blues and stuff like that, that's cleaner. That's the other one of them. So basically, people will, they'll be able to have those sounds if they like.
Very nice. I was kind of thinking maybe like they were a line, and it was going to be called like maybe the Merino, Merino.
Well, it'll have my name on them, but they'll be named after my songs. So
very cool.
I'm picking names right now, so
Oh, so there's not even any names yet.
I can't really go into what the names are yet because we're supposed to get a trademark for them. So
sure, I get it. I was thinking maybe they'd be called the Frank Marino series or something of pedals.
Well, it is that kind of thing.
Awesome.
Basically, that's what the logo looks like.
Great. Well, that's exciting.
What I'm more interested in, the fact that I build them, and it really is the sound that I use, and it really is me building them. It's not just, I'm not just partnering with some company or something like that. These are hand done.
That is so amazing. Now, you do those, do you have like a workshop at your place?
Well, basically my basement.
Nice. The laboratory.
Yeah, the laboratory. But I mean, they look nice. They don't look hand done. They look very, very, very nice. Very, very good looking.
That is such a unique and interesting concept, and I think it's awesome, and I love that you're doing it after the names of your songs, too. That's so cool.
Yeah, but, the most important thing to me is how they sound. So, if they sound good, I check, each one of them to make sure that it sounds exactly like what I use. Because there's a lot of guys that have their name on a pedal or something, but it isn't really what they use, or they didn't think it up, or whatever. Like this is genuine, genuinely my own stuff that I'm actually genuinely building. So
that's awesome.
Because I was reading that
and I designed them as well. So not something I took like from some other thing.
I was reading that you were quoted as saying something about your setups, that they are pretty kind of a little complicated, but that you said something about an entire pedal board assigned to hold the expression pedals that control the parameters of the effects of another pedal board. Does that sound like something familiar?
Pedal boards, I'm one of the first guys that had like a really big pedal board with lots of pedals when it wasn't popular to have them. And in the early 70s, And I used to show up with my 6-foot-long pedal board that had like 22 pedals on it.
Yes.
Everyone would laugh at me, and they'd say, "Oh, look at this guy, he needs to have all these pedals," And now, what I ended up doing over the years is I ended up compressing all of that down into a very small sort of board that does pretty much what the big one did. But I ended up building my own amps too, so to get part of the sound that's built into the amplifiers. And now everyone uses a pedal board, even guys that don't turn them on. They have like 20 pedals on their boards, and they don't even turn them on sometimes.
Right?
You're the original.
Yes, and I knew that that was something that, that you had been associated with at some point or whatever, so I thought I would just ask if you still had the pedal board, the famous pedal board that people talk about.
Yes, I still have all the original stuff too. Yes, but I use when I go on the road now, I use a condensed version of it. And if you've seen my DVD, on the left side of the stage, that's the condensed version of what used to be 6 feet long.
Wow.
That is so cool, because so many people put their names on different products, and I'm sure you're obviously aware that this happens, and they just, do it for a money kind of thing, and it's like so-and-so, amps or whatever, but yours is a complete different animal.
Well,
yours is
and
the real deal.
They have nothing to do with the design, but his is obviously built by him.
From the ground floor up, yeah.
Right.
Frank Marino's is like from the ground floor up. That is amazing and super applaudable.
Well, I just hope people find it amazing, and I hope that they want them, because I haven't been able to do much else for a while. I'm not touring, so I figured I'd do this in the meantime, and see what happens.
How long has it been since you have done a live performance?
It's been a long, long time. Well, I guess you could say it's the DVD.
Wow.
So that's a pretty long time ago,
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I haven't played.
Sure.
I've played. I just haven't gone out and done live gigs.
And that's kind of the thing I think that your fans were kind of hinting at this past week. Is he playing? Is he going to play again live? Those kinds of things. And
let me put it this way. If all of this problem that I'm having clears up, and I really hope it does, yes, I will play live again. But,
yay, good to hear.
you definitely, your heart would be in it. Yes.
How old will I be?
Well, good point.
If it had cleared up like 2 years ago, we had a tour all scheduled to go. There was a huge tour all scheduled to go 2 years ago. But maybe it was for the best, because in a way they wouldn't have let me into the United States anyway for the last 2 years, because I'm not one of the vaccinated people.
Sure, yes, and that kind of complicated things for, a lot of people, including a lot of touring musicians. But I was going to say, your birthday is, we're fellow Scorpios, but you were born, you're younger than a lot of guys out there that are still doing it, and guys that have had to take a break for a while and went back out. So, I wouldn't say that you're, when you say, how old will I be? You're not that old, Frank. So
well, right now I'm 68.
Right.
By November I'll be 69.
Well, you're still in the
now,
sixes.
It's true that most of my confreres, are older than me, because I was a youngster in the group of players, in the early 70s. Everyone else was in their 20s when I was 16, 17. I made my first album at 16, so I was a little bit young. So, I'm 68 now. We just lost Jeff Beck, and guys from my time, they're about 8 to 10 years older than me.
Yeah, Jeff Beck was quite.
But I hope I don't have this problem for another 8 to 10 years.
Well, we'll pray for you, man.
We will, and
a lot of people have been doing that, so I'm thankful for that.
Absolutely, and they'll continue to do so, and continue to send good vibes your way, and with lots of hope that we get to.
But I'm still
see
playing.
you out.
Like I'm still playing just like I ever played. It's not like I don't lose anything by not touring. It's not like I get rusty or anything like that.
That's just great. You still got it going on.
Well, it's because it's so natural. it's just natural.
Sure.
But it's just the touring that I can't do.
Yeah.
It's the touring and the traveling.
And that's, you're not alone in that regard. Ozzy, obviously just came out recently saying that, he still has the drive, but just isn't able to keep up with the relentless touring schedule. That's hard on a person, so.
It is. As you get older, you believe me, it gets harder and harder.
I can't
And I know
imagine.
that people think, well, what are we complaining about? We're basically getting paid to go out and play and have fun and play guitar. But, most of the day isn't spent at that 3-hour show playing guitar. Most of the rest of the day is spent traveling or moving or doing something else, and it begins to wear on you.
Yeah, the older you get, we do respect that, Frank, because I myself am no spring chicken either.
Yeah.
But,
How old are you now, Derek? I might ask.
I just had a birthday a couple days ago. I just turned 57.
Well, happy birthday to you.
Well, thank you, Frank. It was a good one. My daughter was here. Our daughter was down, and we had birthday cake and ice cream. What more can I say?
That's what it's all for.
I know, man. I live for the birthday cake. I really do.
Yeah.
Are you a grandfather, Frank?
No, not yet.
Not yet. We aren't either. I just thought I'd ask.
I have three daughters, and neither of them has done that yet.
Yeah, they're waiting longer these days. I know that's for sure.
Have you noticed that?
I have
True.
noticed. I have noticed.
Yeah,
Yes,
I've noticed that. My older brother just became a grandfather.
Oh, so
He's
you're
older than me by 3 or 4 years.
so you're an uncle though,
Just became a grandfather.
right? So you've got a new nephew then.
Yeah, exactly.
Fabulous. That's great. What does Frank Marino do on a regular average day? Like, if you're not playing guitar, what does Frank do what do you do on an average day?
Well, these days I'm doing the pedals.
Right, working mostly on
building
those.
the pedals and all this about the pedals, designing and building and designing. These things I can't build a pedal in like a couple of hours.
Oh, no.
It takes time because it's all hand done.
I can't imagine.
But what are the other than that, what do I do in a day really depends on what there is to do. Sometimes I just read or look at the computer or watch sports or watch hockey or something like that. It depends. I don't have a real plan.
Right on.
And that's one of the hardest things, is to find something to do without getting bored to death.
Isn't it though? I think that goes for a lot of people. I think a lot of people have trouble just even sitting still silently for very long. But working on the pedals is a great.
My biggest problem is that I would like to be playing all the time.
Sure.
But my band is not in Montreal. My drummer's in L.A., the bass player's somewhere else. You can't just get guys together to do that. Like when we were young, we all lived in the same place, and we could always be together, and if we weren't doing a gig, we could at least get together and jam.
Yeah,
But that's harder and harder to do as we get older.
Yeah, logistical things like that are definitely trickier. And plus, a lot of people, even Chrissy from the Pretenders recently said that she's not going back out because she's actually losing money when she tours. So things have sure.
Oh, yeah, you don't make... Listen, unless you're Taylor Swift or something, you're not making any money when you're touring.
Amen.
The price of... Listen, my bus, we take a bus so that I can lie down and rest a little bit, right? That bus gets 3 miles to the gallon.
I was going to say, yeah, I bet it does.
Start
Yeah.
adding up 50,000 miles.
Yeah, I had just a regular old pickup truck that got about 10 miles to the gallon, so I can't imagine an actual tour bus.
Yeah, 3 to 4 miles to the gallon.
That's just crazy.
Pulling the gear, and you've got a crew and everything in the truck, and it's diesel. Just figure out the price of gas. You're not making any money. You're working for the oil company.
Amen on that. Yeah, unfortunately. Frank, do you ever go check out any of the Frank Marino and Mahogany Rush fan groups that are online?
I don't generally. I hear a lot about them, but I have this. I stay away from anything that's sort of, complimentary to me.
Ego work.
Yeah, it's like I stay away from that because I don't know. I've never felt comfortable with applause.
I respect that.
People say you should go see this. These guys are saying that. This. People are watching your videos. Blah blah blah. And I'm very thankful for it. Don't get me wrong. I'm very thankful, but I don't generally go around looking at it because it's kind of like reading your own press clippings.
Yeah.
It's a little bit weird.
I just noticed there was a lot of them.
Imagine keeping pictures of yourself in your wallet.
Right, I get it. I was noticing there's a lot of Frank Marino and Mahogany Rush groups online before the show. I was just an impulsive question just to see what you would say. Pretty interesting. Those folks really love you, I tell you that much.
Well, from time to time we put out certain songs from the DVD, and we just put out an unreleased blues tune from the night of the DVD that wasn't even on the DVD, and people are viewing that. I know that they're viewing that. I don't know what the comments are. I imagine they're pretty good.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool that you do things for your fans like that.
Yeah, you have to sort of try to stay in touch. The only reason I have had a career is because of the fans.
Wow.
It's not like I made it happen.
Yeah, but do you know...
fans made it happen.
You know how many bands, and I can... Trust me, I've interviewed hundreds. Do you know how many people actually forget who is the one that supports them? And thankfully you're not. Oh, we just lost him. Let's call him right back. He said to call back if it got disconnected. Luckily, I'm on it.
Gosh darn technology.
Oh, it's okay. I got it. Hey, Frank, we got you back online now.
Okay.
So, yeah, a lot of these bands...
You were saying you've interviewed hundreds.
Yeah, and a lot of these folks just seem to forget how it all started and don't have time for their fans, and you just always seem to have had time and make sure, make yourself available and not put yourself on a pedestal, so thank you for that.
Well, it doesn't even require thanks. It's logical. When you think about a person, any person, what do they have that wasn't given to them?
Right,
When
nothing.
you actually think about it.
Nothing.
Their body was given to them by their parents. Their name was given to them. Even their name. Everything a person has comes from somewhere else.
Amen.
And so to boast as if you made anything happen is exactly that. It's boasting. So whatever I've had from the music industry... yes, I played and I did my part, but without the audience, there's no show.
I love those words. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's all about gratitude, I think, and that's a metaphor. For life. That's not just, your rock
right,
and roll, but
Tracy, you're right. It is about gratitude, and in my book, I when I wrote that chapter in the book, I wrote. People thought that my editing work on the DVD was a labor of love, and I called it a labor of gratitude.
yes, awesome.
Because we hear that all the time. In my religion, it's always, give thanks to the Lord, give thanks to the Lord. It's always about giving thanks and being thankful and trying to be as thankful as possible.
What's your book called for those that don't know?
Well, it's part of the DVD. There's a book in there. There's a 180-page book of which the journalist wrote half of it, and I wrote the second half. So it's part of the DVD box set.
How do people contact you and get a hold of your merchandise and things like that, and that DVD and the booklet? How would people do that?
They'd go to mahoganyrush.net/DVD, or they would simply go to our YouTube, the official Frank Marino YouTube channel, and from there it'll take them everywhere. Or even just mahoganyrush.com. There's going to be links to the DVD, to the merch, to everything that.
Yeah.
If you'd go where you'd expect to go.
mahoganyrush.com.
Not frankmarino.com, because that happens to be a female impersonator from Las Vegas.
I read
right.
I read that there is another Frank Marino out there.
We talked about this
Yes,
on a previous
we
interview.
did.
That was actually funny.
Yeah, it is funny. Yeah, particularly since that guy's name appeared in one of the Austin Powers movies.
Frank, what are you doing in that movie? That's funny.
Really.
Well, listen, our time has flown by quickly. I just want to say it's always a pleasure. It just goes by like we're talking to an old friend, and I know Tracy and I were both, real excited to talk with you today, Frank. We're going to continue to send good vibes and pray for your continued good health, and we appreciate all the great years of music.
And we will be there as soon as you, because I know this is going to pass, and I know that I just have faith that I'm going to get to see you live, play live again someday in the near future. So I'm just going to keep thinking that way. And thank you so much. Speaking of gratitude, we are completely grateful that you're with us here tonight on the Church of Rock.
Yeah.
Well, the pleasure is all mine, and I'm grateful as well. So thank you very much.
Thanks. And we had so much we could choose from, but we're going to go back to 1974 because, well, we listened to so many of your songs, and we decided to play Talking About a Feeling. Talking About a Feeling. Remember that one, right?
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Oh, good. We picked a good one then. Well, Frank Marino, you are a very appreciated man, and thanks for your time again, and many good vibes to you and your family.
All right, same to you now.
Okay, God bless. Take care.
Thank you, Frank.
God bless you too.
Bye-bye.